Hello beautiful people, welcome to Real Makeup for Real Women in Real Time. Today I'm going to show you how to bake your makeup. Now for those of you that don't understand what this is, essentially it's a heavy full coverage foundation that's super set, so it gives you a really flawless finish, but more importantly it gives you extreme longevity for your foundation. Now I'm going to be honest, I don't tend to use this as a day-to-day makeup. I find it a bit too heavy. However, if you have a special event or you're maybe a businesswoman with back-to-back meetings from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you need a foundation that's going to go the distance with you, this is definitely for you. Now, professionally, I like to use this particular technique when I'm looking after celebrities for, say, a red carpet event or really big weddings. And I also use a dulled down version of this when I'm looking after people for live TV. So if they're going to be on for long periods of time, I will use this particular method. However, as I said, because of HD cameras these days, I dull it right down. Now, just to give you an idea of how difficult and technically advanced this is, I'm just going to show you something. Traditionally, if you were going to do a baked makeup, you would need a light colored concealer, you would need a dark colored concealer, you would need a normal colored concealer, you would need a heavy duty foundation, preferably wax or oil based, you would need a setting powder, you would need a translucent powder, and you would apply this all with a sponge that's been dampened down, and then you would use multiple brushes to buff, polish, and really blend it all out so it looks really smooth. Now let's face it, for mere mortals, this is just ridiculous. So I'm going to show you how to do a really easy version of it with GlindaWand. I will be using the Divinity Foundation by GlindaWand, the Fountain of Youth Elixir by GlindaWand, and just a couple of brushes. That's it. I am going to say this is a really technically advanced application, but I really have worked hard to get this really simplified for you. So let's get started. Okay, so you're first going to grab your Divinity Foundation. Now this is 100% pure minerals. It's 100% natural, it's cruelty free, it's vegan, and it's also got a broad spectrum SPF of 20 plus on it. We'll be using this as a powder, we'll be using this as our liquid, and we'll also be using this as our concealer. I've already prepped my skin with my Fountain of Youth Elixir, which happens to be the world's best moisturizer on the planet. So if nothing else, get yourself a bottle of the Fountain of Youth Elixir by GlindaWand and see your skin getting better every day. To start, take off the lid, take out the little stopper, but don't throw that away. I like to keep that and put it back in afterwards because I feel it just keeps the product a little bit fresher and it stops it moving around if you're ever in transit. Okay, now what we're going to do is take the Fountain of Youth Elixir, okay, and we're going to put one pump into the lid, okay, one pump, that's it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is take the spoon that comes with a pot of powder and we're going to use a full spoon of powder, okay, because we're doing a heavy coverage, okay, so that's a full spoon straight into the lid. Okay, then what we're going to do is take our foundation brush. I'm using the foundation brush number 2 by GlindaWand, and you are simply going to mix it up in the lid. Really, really easy. Then what you're going to do is start applying the product. Now if you do see me looking down, guys, when I'm working, I'm looking into my magic mirror. I need glasses these days, blind, and which is really quite frustrating, but I can't see properly into this, so I just want to make sure I'm doing a nice clean application. So yeah, if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. Okay, no funny business goes on these Real Makeup for Real Women in Real Time videos. It's all a la natural, it's all me, and I don't do any kind of editing, mainly because I don't know how to do it, but that's not the point. The point is I want to show you how to do it step by step so that you can do this particular technique with me. Everything I do is so that you guys can do it quickly, easily, and with me. Now what you'll notice is that I'm really concentrating around the eyes. This is really important part of this technique, okay? So you really want to concentrate around the eyes. I'm really doing that quite significantly. And then I'm going to go down the T-zone, okay? Now we are going to be going down onto the neck as well, so don't worry, we will be getting there. So I'm just using that same amount that I originally made up, which was one full spoon of the Divinity Foundation to 1 pump of the Fountain of Youth Elixir. So as you can see now, I'm just going to buff this into the skin. Now this is really important procedure to do. Now the reason why this is really important is because you want to give the 100% pure minerals a chance to not only adhere to your skin to get that perfect longevity, you also want it to adjust to your exact skin tone. So what the beauty of the Divinity Foundation is that because it is 100% pure minerals with absolutely no fillers in it whatsoever, it has a unique ability to adjust to your exact skin tone. So as long as you are somewhere in the ballpark with your color selection, I guarantee you, you will get a perfect finish on your foundation. It will just adjust to your exact skin tone. It's quite remarkable. I can have like 5 different people with the same color and it'll work on all of them. It's quite remarkable. So as you can see, I've really concentrated around the eyes, okay, and I'm really getting that color right into here where I tend to have wrinkles and things like that, all those nasty, wonderful, nasty things when you get older. The other thing is also just a little footnote on that. This is the activator for the liquid is the Fountain of Youth Elixir. This is a super hydrating, collagen boosting, toning and brightening moisturizer. So this is truly anti-aging on your skin. And what you will find is I did this particular application yesterday for my Facebook, and I've got to say at about it must have been about 8 o'clock last night, my husband looked at me and he said, "Oh, Jax," he said, "your skin looks really good." And it was like, oh my gosh, I've still got my foundation on. And I thought, you know what? I cannot believe that after I would have had that on for, gosh, 12, oh no, not 12 hours. I would have had on for at least 10 hours. And it felt like I had nothing on my skin. For a heavy coverage foundation, that is just quite remarkable. And it still looked absolutely flawless. Like I could have gone out with my foundation at 8 o'clock last night. It was just really amazing. That's a really cool thing to have. Now you'll see that I've really buffed that into the skin really, really well. So it's given me a really beautiful, clean, fresh finish on my skin. Now I'm just going to check in my mirror, make sure that I have got that all perfect, which I'm really happy with. Now I've got a couple of little spots at the moment, which I'm not loving, but hey, that's okay, I can live with that. So I'm going to be covering up those soon. So I've put my heavy foundation on. This is also, actually this particular application is really good for those girls who really like a heavy duty foundation, but if you're using chemicals, you're putting on those on your face all the time. I don't like doing that, so I'm going to say to you, give this foundation a try. It's amazing if you like a heavy coverage because it just is beautiful and your skin can still breathe. It doesn't clog your skin up like others can. Like all those other things that I was showing you before, they just are awful on the skin and they really can cause a lot of congestion and you can end up with a lot of pimples and things like that. This skin's clean, love it. Okay, sorry, I digress. Let's get back onto what we were doing. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use a medium powder brush. This is the medium powder brush by GlindaWand, the universal number 3, and I'm going to dip that into the powder, okay? And then I'm just going to tap off the excess powder. Now that's the trick with this particular product. Make sure you tap off the excess because it is 100% pure mineral, so it won't fall everywhere as long as you tap off the excess, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to concentrate that around the eyes, okay? So now what we're doing is we are setting the product, okay? We're setting the foundation. Same thing on the other side, okay? Tap. So I have dipped and I'm tapping. So I've got that product there and I'm just concentrating it around the eyes, okay? Now traditionally if you were doing this technique, you would actually have to do all your foundation, all your concealing, and then you would set you'd set it with a regular powder and then you'd use the translucent powder to set, and you have to leave that for a good 10 minutes and then you buff and what have you afterwards. This is all done in the process, so the whole process of putting this on does genuinely take me a good 5 to 6, maybe 7 minutes, but it's all setting as you go, so it makes a huge difference. So now what I'm going to do is using that small brush, I'm just dipping it into the powder, and then what I'm doing is I'm taking off the excess and then I'm just setting my T-zone and under the eyes. You do really need to concentrate under the eyes. It's a really important part of this technique because it's about supersetting. So you want to make sure that you're not going to get sweat or condensation or movement underneath the eyes. So that's why we're going through with a smaller brush first and really setting all the problem areas. Okay, so you'll notice that I'm not worrying about here or here. I'm just concentrating on the T-zone and under and around the eyes and mouth. Okay, so once again, just tapping off the excess after putting it into the powder, and I'm just concentrating that T-zone. And I like to concentrate here because this is where I have a bit of a problem. I am in early menopause, so I get hot flushes. So these are sort of the areas that really are problematic for me. So I really concentrate on these as I apply. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take a large powder or kabuki brush. I'm using the large powder brush by GlindaWand number 1. And I'm going to now take about, a quarter of a spoon. Don't forget the spoon comes with a pot of powder. This is $49 on the GlindaWand website, by the way. And then I'm just going to tip that gently into the lid. I'm just going to put this down for a minute because I want you to see how I load the brush. So you'll see that I've got the powder in there. All I'm going to do is now gently load the brush, and I'm just rolling that around inside the lid to gently load the brush. Tap off any excess, load it, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to gently buff this into the skin all over. Okay, this is helping to set the foundation. Now you'll also notice that I'm in a white top, and you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, she's using a loose powder with a white top. Ah! I'm going to be honest and say that that's how I used to be as well, but because this is 100% pure minerals, the Divinity Foundation is pure, there's no fillers in it, it's not talky, so it won't cake up, and more importantly, as long as you tap off the excess, you'll never get any powder falling. Okay, so now what I'm doing is just gently buffing that into the skin. Okay, so now you can see how clean, natural, but still beautifully dewy my skin looks. It's quite remarkable. This is such a beautiful finish on any skin tone, and it's perfectly adjusted to my exact skin tone, which I love. So I'm just having a quick look in my mirror here, and I am my magnifying mirror. I knew that, trust me. Okay, so I'm really happy with the finish. Now the only thing I am going to do just to finish up, and I'm just going to keep my mirror, I've got my mirror just sitting on my lap here. I'm just going to, I've got a spot here which you can hardly see, but I want to show you I'm just going to finish up my application, and a spot here that don't ask me how that one turned up, but it came up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my foundation brush, dip it into the powder, okay? And then I'm just going to once again tap off the excess, always tap off the excess. And I'm just going to apply that. I've got a spot here. That's now completely gone, and a spot here. That's gone. Okay, so now you can see how perfect my skin looks. Now I am just going to take that once more, a tiny bit onto the edge of the foundation brush, and I'm just going to tap off the excess, okay, and I'm just going to make sure that under those eyes is super set. It's really important to get the under eyes super set. Okay, and I'm just going to take that small brush again, that medium brush, and I'm just going to dip it and tap off the excess, and just once again super set it. I can guarantee you this is not going to move for 2 days. I reckon I could sleep in this for a day and a half, 2 days, and wouldn't move. It's just amazing. Yep, totally happy with that. Okay, so you can now see how to bake your makeup. Now you'll see this is a perfect, flawless finish. It will last until I remove it. But what I really love about this particular baked foundation, the Divinity Foundation by GlindaWand, is it's not like your traditional foundations that are chemical based. It's 100% natural based, so you do not need an industrial strength cleanser to remove it. It will come off with a regular gentle cleanser, and your skin can still breathe while it's on, And the other thing that's completely amazing about this is it doesn't congest the skin. My skin feels beautiful. Now, with most baked makeups, you normally have to leave all the powders setting before you remove it for a good 10 minutes. I've already set everything perfectly, so I'm just going to now put the rest of my makeup on, and by the time I do that, my skin will be perfectly set. Now, another thing that I really love about the Divinity Foundation and the fact that it's 100% natural is it has a beautiful natural luminosity to it. Basically what that means is it's got a dewiness. Normally when you use chemical based foundations and the layer upon layer upon layer, it looks really heavy, it looks really made up, but also you need to add highlighters and a lot of other products to it to make it look three-dimensional. Because these are so heavy, they're very flat. This naturally diffuses light, so it leaves the skin looking remarkably fresh and clean. So you don't need to add highlighters and other products on top to make the skin look dewy and glowing. It does it by itself. Even once it's completely set, which will be in about 5 minutes, it will still have this incredible dewiness to it, but it is completely set, it doesn't move, and it's a remarkably good quality, fantastic foundation. If you would like to try the Divinity Foundation by GlindaWand, head to www.glindawand.com.au. Go into the GlindaWand Cosmetica section and you'll find the foundations there. Now, you can purchase the Divinity Foundation by itself as a standalone powder for $49. Today, for your information, I am in the French beige, which is a medium. There's 5 colors to choose from: alabaster for the porcelain skin girls out there, almond for the light to medium girls out there, French beige, which is for the medium girls out there, Mediterranean, which is for the olive girls out there, and then I've also got ebony, which is for the dark skin girls and African skin. Okay, you can also purchase the Fountain of Youth Elixir as a standalone product or in a duo with the Divinity Foundation. This is a set which you can purchase for $89. And then we also have a set with all the brushes that I've used today for $149. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know how you go. Please feel free to send me some pics so that I can see how you do it. Stay with it, do it with me, and I guarantee you, you will end up with the same finish that I have right now. This is the Divinity Foundation Baked Foundation by GlindaWand and me, Jacqui. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.